G'day and welcome to Making Music. Over the next 45 minutes, we will give you a run through of how to write a song, how to produce a song, and even if you're not a musician, this will give you some insights. You'll also hear some music that we have produced, and we'll show you how simple it all really is. Enjoy. I love it. Most podcasts spend millions. We've only spent hundreds of thousands to do these intros. That's good. It's good stuff. Paul Longley, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Richard. How are you?
I'm all right.
That's all right.
We're into a part that intrigues me because the leap from not knowing to knowing, from my perspective, has never really happened because I came from a musical family. And I think most of us in my family are all musical at some level.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't ever have that, should I do music or not, because it's innate. It's in part of it. I had sisters who naturally harmonised and sang, and brothers, and it was like that. There was music. So I don't know what it is to go in and say, I would like to learn music. Where do I start? It's a big question.
Yeah, and I have to say I relate to that too, to a degree. But I would say too, like, because I'm, as you know, I play a few different instruments. I find there's something new and kind of confronting when I pick up a new instrument and do it. And like, but people say, oh, but you've got the musical knowledge, you can do it. Yeah, but there's still something about it that is, a bit unnerving, which is kind of good. So, and I think, yeah, like you're saying, for a lot of people, I think we all might have definitely had an encounter or experience with music, but maybe not practically learning music, for example. And I think that's where, even with our podcasts here, looking before we even look at other instruments, is looking at something like singing. And
can I suggest too there that probably that was the first instrument, if not hitting two rocks together. I think the voices probably was the first musical instrument, because it is, and virtually every instrument is trying to replicate that, is trying to have its own voice, is trying to be like us.
And where do we get it from? We just listened to the birds before, and it's like birdsong is, us. Emanating sounds in nature that we've heard as well, and then we, I don't know with you, but I remember being a kid sitting around, singing some songs even in the car, or whatever. These are things that a lot, not all of us perhaps, but a lot of us have, even if we haven't done it in community with family or with friends, we've done it by ourselves, singing along to a song we like. So we it's part of us.
It is. But it's also digging that bit out. And I think we are both lucky to have at one stage the ability to be able to do this.
Yes.
And it wasn't judgment, it was everyone in. Everyone jump in and start singing. There were judgments obviously coming from, but usually when everyone's singing in the car, they're singing in the car or they're singing at home. And it's just part of it. I've just got to say something very quickly here. That awesome. Also that music. My grandmother was Austrian, and her father came out to Australia, and he used to take around. This is back before sound was on film.
Yeah,
and they used to have the circuit, so they'd go from town to town playing these movies, and they had these pianos, the pianola. So, and if you haven't run across a pianola, it's got a paper punch card in it basically, and it runs through, and you have to pump it with your feet on the ground. That pulls the card through, and it plays the piano for you. So these rolls of music came with the film. So you'd have a Charlie Chaplin film, and my grandmother, as a little girl, was sitting at the pianola pumping this stuff. She didn't play piano, and then she decided one day, because something went wrong with the roll, to make some stuff, just play along. And as time went on, she never learned, she didn't have any lessons. She used to play. and make her
Wow,
own,
that's
make her
amazing.
to these old Charlie Chaplin movies or these old silent movies, and she'd be in the country areas around New England and other places, but whacking out this stuff with these tiny little fingers on this piano, and that was just part of the musicality that luckily I was exposed to.
It's incredible.
She could sing too, and she's like a nightingale. But all that family could all sing and all play piano. So that became part of the environment that you're in. But the singing was always the thing that hit the heart. It was always whoever sang. They were the star. But were they good or were they bad? Who knows? Who knows?
And that's it. Is it about good or bad? And I think, like we're saying, when you grow up or you're in that or around that or just doing it for yourself, there is that no judgment. Like we're talking about the criticism and the inner critic and the external criticism that we can be exposed to, but just having that purity of just singing and making up. But then obviously it does come to that time where, that happens as well.
You're listening to Making Music, and coming up, we will be talking singing. Is it a lost art, or is it now all about technology? But right now, this is a song from Paul's Mind's Eye album. It's called Traveller.
Well, I guess you can call me a traveller. Or something like that. I was made for better things than sitting on my backside doing nothing. Living like a couch believer never helped me think I could be something. But there were days I surely felt the harsh hand I was once dealt would creep up and get me from behind. And I'd be blind to believe that I cannot move on. Cracks and gaps beneath our feet starting to appear when we repeat the same old story you and I regret. Not knowing how to change a slide of past lives, we'd rather hide instead of giving all that we can get. Picking up the broken pieces seem to have a way of making sure we are cut up even more. They can stay where they are, but now I'm going on. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Doesn't matter what they say. Why on earth would I delay? And now I'm on my way. Looking back has never helped me stop the reel so I can change the picture. Instead I made my bed there and I found it was much harder to get out. Crying over life can be so easy when we contemplate, and I know it could make me cry again. I'll go there once in a while, but now I'm going on. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Doesn't matter what they say. Why on earth would I delay? And now I'm on my way. On my way. Doesn't matter what they say. Why on earth would I delay? Now I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. what they say. Why on earth would I delay? Now I'm on my I was made for better things than sitting on my backside doing nothing.
Well, that song is called Traveller, and it's from my Mind's Eye album. We're talking about singing.
The singing, though, I think these days has become something of, it's not a lost art, but it's not the art it was. And I write it down to a bit of technology, auto-tune, where a lot of people are being, after they've done their singing, the producer goes in and retunes them. So if you give me an F, so that's a perfect F. But people don't sing like that.
Mm.
So I'm trying to do an F. It's going to give me a wavering F. You're better than me. That's it. So if you play the F and do that at the same time, keep the waver.
Oh.
So it's two different things, but when your voice is with the perfect F, there's some magic that happens between the note, the perfect note, and the human soul, those two things. But these days with auto-tune, your voice and that note are perfect. So that soul disappears. It becomes so perfect. It's so perfect that for me, when I'm listening to it, I think this is not what I want to listen to. I don't want to listen to human perfection.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And as we've had conversations previously about this with like looking at music from the 60s and 70s, and they weren't, the voices weren't auto-tuned. And yes, there were a lot of singers that could sing mostly in key, if you dare want to call it that. But there is a beauty, like we've said, in just having a note that is a little bit out of tune. And people right now are listening to this going, what? Yeah, it's okay if it's not perfect. Maybe in a class, maybe in singing opera, okay, yes, or a particular style, fair enough. But if we're talking about, making up songs or songwriting, singer-songwriting, or different contexts, singing with a group of friends, performing at, performing folk music or whatever,
Who in your mind, and you'll probably answer this fairly quickly, would be one of the greatest songwriters, singer-songwriters from the 60s and 70s, and particularly that he was folk and then he moved into electronic?
Is this like a general knowledge quiz?
A general knowledge question. If you're in the pub next week and they ask this question, here's the answer.
He started out in folk.
American. He's American.
Oh gosh.
Guitar played 60s particularly, and then the 70s, and he's still going. And he went from acoustics. He was an acoustic musician, and then suddenly he decided to go electronic, and the world hated him for about 2 seconds until they realised how good he was.
Oh, I can't even think of it. Wow.
You ready?
Yeah, go and tell me.
Bob Dylan.
I actually was going to say Bob Dylan.
But I should have pre-warned you. But that's this thing about this podcast. There's no preparation. Well, there is, but to a certain extent. Can Bob Dylan hit the perfect note?
That is look. I know musicians that would say Bob Dylan can't even play music, but that's what's amazing about. And I think he's a prime example. And it's fascinating. I saw him. I was watching, that song they did. USA for Africa.
Oh, yeah.
And Bob Dylan was in it, and it was amazing. I watched his documentary, and he was incredible just because everyone really respected his own sound within that, but he was actually quite unsure about how to fit his sound within that. But then he had other people like Stevie Wonder, and they just who was an amazing mimic, just come in and just knew how to. And it was so wonderful to watch how they could bring all these voices, different voices, and someone like Bob Dylan in. And I got to really see or understand a bit more about Bob Dylan, because as I said, I know people that I've heard musicians really criticise Bob Dylan because of his voice, who sounds like Popeye or whatever they want to say. I don't know. But look, he's, but the way he has touched a million, and, he's been out there doing for 50 years, 60 years. incredible.
It comes down to, I guess that's what we're coming down to with that voice, the singing, the auto tune, the wave, the auto tune to me. Again, I keep using analogies. I'm a writer, so I've got to keep using this. But I remember dining room tables, and in the 1980s, these beautiful wooden tables. People were buying them. They go, "Oh, don't do it anymore. We don't want to buy these tables anymore. They're just not doing it for us." So someone came up with knarling. Have you seen knarling?
No.
So they've got this spiky thing that looks like a spike, spurs on the boots for riding horses, the old ones, the old American ones, these big spiky stars. So they'd run that over the top of the table and put big holes in it, and then run forks over it and knives, and then varnish the top. And sold them for another $2,000 on top. Just gnarling, because it was imperfect. It wasn't perfected. It wasn't this perfect table. It had all these holes and dinks and stuff that looked like it had lived. I know in my family we had a huge, huge table for forever since I can remember, this long table, and it had my sisters wrote their initials in it. My brothers were digging holes in it, but it was the family history on this slab of wood. There was a table. It wasn't perfect, and my parents never got upset because that was the imperfection was the thing that made that.
Exactly.
And I think with voice too, I kind of like that it's, and
Me
particularly
too.
somebody
I love
who's
it.
never sung before. I would love to, ideally, in my ideal world, grab microphones like this, go out, get people who have never sung and record them.
You're listening to Making Music. Coming up, we'll explore that idea further. But right now, here's a song of yours, Richard, called Not You.
Everybody's got emotion. Everybody's got a notion. Everybody wants to run it, but not you. Not you. Everybody seems to own it. Everybody wants to ruin it. Everybody takes it as their own, but not you. Not you. Everybody's got their secret. Everybody's got complete money. Everybody gives advice to me, but not you. Not you. Everybody's just so perfect. Everybody wants to curve it. Everybody wants control, but not you. But not you. Everybody's too perfect. Everybody wants to curve it. Everybody wants control, but not you. But not you.
That song's called Not You. I recorded that recently. Now, back to the idea of getting people who have never sung and recording them.
It would be lovely to know and to think and to hope that there are people out there that do really treasure, the raw, natural quality that we all make as people, because I think it comes back to this innate, natural, almost rudimentary thing, like we said at the beginning of what was our first instrument, and what was it for? I would say, that would be a question to ask, especially when we talk about making music with singing. What is the purpose of singing? And I think that comes to this whole, mental health aspect, dare I say, well-being side, which is more than just these terms we use in everyday life like this. It's like expression and sharing. And I guess that's what we're trying to draw out in these podcasts, isn't it? Is that you can just do it from yourself because you want to sing. You just want to sing something, say something, do it for yourself because it feels good. Whether you do it for others or just for yourself, there's something powerful in singing.
There is, and I think we can use the mother as an example. Mother singing to the crying baby. And who is that for? Is it for the baby or is it for the mother? I reckon it's for both.
It's for both. And you might remember with your babies, I know with mine when they were babies, there's something, and for the dad too, there's something very, I used to love singing to my kids and hearing the mum sing too. There's something really incredible. And as you said, it's not just for the baby, it's this, and dare I say, it's this interconnection between the two beings, and something very soothing for yourself. I used to find it very settling for me just to be, ooh, just doing that type of soothing sounds or whatever. And I used to play rhythm on my babies as well. That's another
on your babies?
Yes. I used to like tap rhythms on them when they were pouched. But
that's brilliant.
I used to put music in.
That's brilliant. That's the stuff too for the connection point. And look, even if you're not a singer, in yourself, and you're never going to do it, and you're just listening to this for the sake of listening to it, read. If you've got kids, read out loud. Read out loud. It doesn't matter what you're reading. Oh, yeah, it does. But if it's read out loud. But read stories to them, or when they're around in the room and you're reading a book, just make sure you read it out loud. Don't do it quietly.
And dare I say, and this is something I have done, if you're reading stories to your kids and it's just with your kids and you feel like you want a bit of a challenge for yourself when we're talking about this creative music making space, you could even sing the lines. Once upon a time there was a little prince and his name was John. And I used to do that with my kids, and what it does too for your children, it gets them being creative, and you are then, if you're daring to do that yourself and let go of those inhibitions and inner critic and see how your kids respond to that, you're setting them up for something incredibly
You're
special.
also setting your teachers up for a fail as well, because as soon as they start reading, your kids are going to go, but my dad sings that.
yeah, that's right. Your kids are going to be giving the teacher the report. Nah, you just don't cut the mustard, mate. Not like my mum or dad. Exactly.
There is. I don't think there's any argument that singing itself is therapeutic for both the singer and the listener. And I listened to some of those Negro spirituals and where they came from and the history of that sound. It came out of soothing. It was we're in this really awful environment, awful time. The way we're going to soothe ourselves while we were enslaved and bashing and trying to get this stuff done, we're going to sing. And it was soothing. And God, the sound, insane.
And look, and absolutely, and just that whole way of, just dealing with the trauma, I guess, too, which was going on. And I just wanted to add to that, Rich, like, we can listen to that and hear these stories, like, and go, oh wow, it's amazing how with Negro spirituals and the sound of that. And then we can do that. I'll never be able to be like that. Like, I mean, if I'm going to compare myself, like, I'll never. But coming back to what is it really about? And I'm just going to share something that I've been doing recently. I've been doing, and not people may think it sounds a bit hippie or whatever, but I've actually been fascinated since I was a teenager, and I only realised recently. I'm fascinated with chanting and singing and harmonic overtone singing and things like that. And I've actually been doing my own kind of even just humming and not chanting in a weird way, just and hum and making. And I've found that we're talking about being soothing. It's incredibly soothing. I think, if we just have this practice of just humming a couple of different notes, even, we can do it when we're walking down the street. And I'll add to that, there's a lot of thought behind that it actually stimulates the vagus nerve, which goes from the back of our neck down into our stomach, and it's connected with our parasympathetic nervous system, and one way that one technique that is taught is that to stimulate that is that we hum or sing, and we can and this comes into that well-being aspect that if we are stressed, singing is a wonderful way to do it. And I would dare say, making up your own singing down the street, yeah, sing some words, sing some sounds, sing some syllables. Get into a regular practice of it. We can,
and you know something great about the age we live in. If you did that 20 years ago, they'd probably put you in the loony bin. But if you do it now, people think, oh, you're on the phone. Oh. So you can get away with it. You can be singing at the top of your voice walking down the main street, and you can get away with it. If somebody looks at you, just on the phone, mate, I'll get back to you.
That's an absolute look. And it's funny, I'll be out and about and I just feel like humming. And that instant reaction is, you get self-conscious. But I've realised people aren't. I'm humming loud enough for me to hear. No one else can hear me, or I'm singing to myself. And that's the other thing, isn't it? It's like we can do it. And even if we did happen to just go off at the top of our lungs, like you said, people are actually going to look away, and you can, so.
There's another beauty to when people are when you've got headphones on and you're listening to music too. I used to love it when I was commuting on the trains a bit. You'd see, because I was lucky enough kind of to be there as that really started to begin. People had until the digital stuff, the phones and the what do they call them? The iPads, not iPads, the little music things. Anyway, the MP3 players.
Yes.
So when they came in and good sets of earphones started coming into play. I watched it on the trains, and I'm very much into watching people, and I loved it because I saw people sitting on the train, and they'd be listening to something, and they're all out of tune because they can't hear themselves. So you hear this sort of sweet dreams of manifest, and you go, what the hell is that? But they're into it, and you see them alive. They're just plowing in.
And that's because their earphones are on. They don't know that. They don't realise their own volume levels. Yeah,
they seem to. You can't. They can't. There's something about when you take your hearing out, you can't quite hit the note. But I love it. I just love it. And there's people who 20 years ago would have been regarded as nutcases, walking around the streets singing at the top of their voice, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It shows that I guess the earphones are the new shower, where you used to be able to sing in the shower but nowhere else. You can now put your earphones on and you can go and sing anywhere you like at the top of your voice along with your favourite artist. If we can just get the earphones off and get people doing that without the earphones, what a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I would even say it's interesting that I think that people could still be I think it's fantastic that a lot of people can do that and not be self-conscious, but I think a lot of people can still be self-conscious with that. But I think that's a really interesting thing to look at too, is like how we can cultivate that in our daily life to allow ourselves to, whether it's singing to a song that or just, as I was saying, my kind of idea or take on this is like when you are by yourself, this is a self-care practice that you can do, and just whether it's singing a song or even why not just to put a little challenge for people, take a song and then change it up a little bit. It's okay if you do.
Give me an example. What are you talking about?
What's a song? Give me what's a song on the top of my head?
What's a song on the top of my head? One of yours.
Oh no! I'm just thinking like
Well, let's do. Look, I used "Sweet Dreams," which was a.
Well, okay. Sweet dreams are made of these. You could just do something like "Sweet dreams are made of these," and just change it a bit, or just and change your words. Sweet dreams are made with peas. Who are we to piss off the fleas? But allowing, giving ourselves the permission to be a little bit cheeky, and it is. And for me, I have to give that to do that now. I felt the drunk, the inner critic, but then go, it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm in a safe space that I can do this, and I think that comes back to creating the safe spaces to do it, whether it's by ourselves or then with our children reading a book or with friends we trust or people.
It's interesting because, as we've discussed, but you've never heard me do it, thank God. I love karaoke. I don't know why. I didn't.
I really want to hear you do karaoke.
I'm not good. I just love because there are usually 10 people in the room, minimum, people who no one can do it. And I'm one of those, can't do it. I'm a musician and I'm a writer, but I can't do karaoke. But I just love it that I've got usually 8-10 people in the room and everyone's saying, to hell with all this. Again, coming back to what you said, creating that safe space, that room, and, you've got a television screen, some speakers coming at you and a microphone. And people get to the point, and okay, sometimes they have a drink or two to get them into the spirit, so to speak. But when they start singing, it's permission to do whatever you like.
Look, and I think it's a very good point. Is that karaoke? So I can be a little, have a bit of a adverse reaction to karaoke too. But when I'm honest, when I go along and it's fun to get into it, and it's great seeing other people do it, and it is an opportunity for people to get up and.
It's not cool. It's not cool. Just in case you're listening at the moment and you think, it must be very cool. It's not.
And you don't have to do it.
And you don't have to do it. But it is, and we've got to come back to that inner critic. The inner critic stays outside.
Yeah.
It's left at the door outside. They've got a little basket for it. And you pop it in there just before you go in, and you're going in with your friends, and you're just doing this stuff because it's idiotic. It's no different to on those fly wires between trees when you hang on and you just scoot down thing, or getting into a kayak and going down a river. There's no point in trying to analyse it and say, what's going to come out of this? How is it going to? It's just you go and do it. You just do it.
And I think you hit on another really amazing point. Like when you go, say, to karaoke or what have you with a group of friends, and you're putting your inner critic in the basket outside, it's because you are allowing yourself to make light of it. Whether you need a couple of drinks for that, or you're just around some friends and they go, "Come on, you do it, I'll do it," and go, "Yeah," and having that environment, and as you said, that coming back to that safe space where you can be okay with going, I'm going to make a fool of myself.
But there is something about it. And I know I filled in for a mate of mine who used to run karaoke's, and I was working as a radio announcer and had to look after some of the shows because, he was doing it, God, I don't know, so many days a week. But he had the audience sort of lined up, and he used to do a bit of singing. That forced me into do it, by the way.
Yep.
So he would open the thing up, and he was awful. It was awful, but he used to sing in a kind of a pseudo Elvis voice. But every song was, we all thank you very much, and that whole. So, and the audience went, if he's that bad, we're up. And so they were all lined up, and they just go for it because he took the sting out of it.
That's amazing.
And because I thought, yuck, karaoke, yuck. But I'll do it because he's my mate. I'll help him out. But once I did it, I thought, that's why he's so bad. That's why he does it. And it just, people wanted to be part of it. Coming back to what you were saying, that the catharsis, the cathartic thing, absolutely. And also self-soothing. Yep. And they went back to their friends and they're all laughing. They're hilarious. It's hilarious stuff. So, and I guess, I don't know where the Japanese came up with it, but it's, thank you, Japan, for that one.
Oh yeah, and it's great how we've kind of like in this conversation we've been talking about like it's all about these podcasts are all about creative music making, and how you can bring singing into it. But then looking at this side where given the right, like we're saying, the right conditions, you can be in that place where a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us can feel safe to get up in front of people and do that. And I would say for anyone out there who would love to eventually get out and face, the audience, is to start in little steps by yourself with small group, like by yourself in the street, in your own space, with your kids, with your friends, small groups. They call it gradual exposure, and then in phobia treatment, and then to the point where you can be in feel comfortable to work out for yourself what's a comfortable space to get up and sing in front of a few people or a group of people.
Can I make a recommendation? If you get a chance, there's a Canadian group of musicians who pulled this together. It's called Choir.
Oh yeah.
And it's people who it's usually about 300 in the choir, and they're all in the mosh pit. And they have an artist, and the one I can recommend just to begin with is Rick Astley. And
it was a Rick Astley song, was it?
That is, Rick is in it. So Rick walks out, and I won't give it all away, but have a look on YouTube. It's choir. But Rick walks out and he's going, they all think I'm a complete dag. They think I'm a dag. So they've rehearsed, because the musos have rehearsed the audience.
Yeah.
So, but Rick hasn't. So it's one take. So he walks out and says, "Hello, everyone." And the whole crowd goes, "Hey, Rick." And he goes, "Oh," and you see it. You see him lift. And then the music starts. And the choir's going, "Oh." And they're going, "You're going to lift me up. I'm going to be." And then the audience, the choir is singing at full volume and does all the backing vocals for him, does all the doubles. That's the same voice stuff again. And he stands there at the end of this thing and he's just so thankful at this crowd. And the crowd adored it. They just absolutely, you watch the cameras on the crowd and they're all just at full voice, and it sounds beautiful. 300 voices, and Rick Astley with a couple of musos on stage. So if you do get a chance, there's lots of them. The Rick Astley one was the first one I ever heard, and it was just outstanding. But the rest, so choir, just have a look on YouTube.
Awesome.
It's worth it, and the choirs are great for giving you a bit of voice too.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's another way. Like if people want to develop their singing or have that, there's nothing like getting a group of people where you're not the center of attention. You can just take the back seat. You can even lip sync while everyone else does it.
Yep.
Till you fake it till you make it.
All right. Well, next time around, I think I'd really like to dig in a little bit into the technical side of playing music without. It's not going to be scary. It's just about what a note is, how to structure it, and why we do that and how we do that. So and I know you've got a lot of tricks that you make look very simple. There are simple tricks, but the actual understanding of a note is pretty straightforward if you get if we can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
All right, let's get a play out of here, and we'll get into the next one next time.
All right.
This is from Paul's Mind's Eye album, Let It Open.
Standing before a wasteland of solitude, staring at distance unseen, taking the chance to believe the unthinkable, telling us what it all means. Find me a bucket of some forsaken sorrow, I'll pour it on all I forget. These days I turn to dust before all that is possible. At least I'm now out of regret. Let it open. yourself better. Pour it out now. Show yourself that you care. Lost in the days where all that looks pitiful, I can't see it as clear as I knew. When time rolls by like a machine from another world, what the hell could anybody do? Got to get back to the ghost of my haunted years, even if it's all in my head. Hello is just like saying goodbye again, and if you do, they just might become your friends. Let it open and feel it inside. Let it open, a face to feel where hide. Pour it out now and show yourself there. Pour it out now, show yourself that you care. To the ghost of my haunted years, even if it's all in my head. Hello is just like saying goodbye again, and if you do, they just might become your friends. Let it open and feel it inside. Let it open, a face to feel behind. Pour it out now and show yourself the best. Pour it out now, show yourself that you can. Let it open and feel it inside. Let it open, a face to feel behind. Pour it out now, show yourself the best. Pour it out now, show yourself you care.